Mommy, I love you.
Alright, I'm gonna say it. This episode was phenomenal. Oh my god, bro. I've been following DANDADAN for a long time, and when I tell you that nothing has ever made me cry the way I cried when I first read the chapter with the acrobatic Silky's backstory, I mean it. A thing I've realized the longer I engage with stories is the importance of dialogue and how dialogue is used to display the relationships characters have with one another. Sometimes shows tend to exposit and waffle too much when building a scene between two characters, but the end goal is to show how these characters interact with one another and the relationships that they have. Silky's backstory has none of that. It's silent from the beginning, only filled with the ambient noises of her surroundings, the most present of noises being the rain that pours down when she makes her way home after selling her body, the sound of the metal against the bottom of her shoes as she takes each step up the steps, that hesitation before she opens, and the only thing that silences the rain and washes away all her stress and anxiety is this. This is beautiful. There's a certain charm and vibrancy to the way they adapted this small scene from the manga. Silky looks so much more dead in the manga. Selling her body has exhausted her to the point that even when she's at the door of her apartment, you can see the fatigue and emptiness in her eyes. But the way it was adapted in the anime adds so much more depth to her and subtlety. First, it's the shock of the hug from her daughter that shakes her out of her funk, and then the joy from seeing her daughter smile fully brings her back and reminds Silky that she's doing all of this for her daughter. It's so subtle, but it's further emphasized by the montage we see of Silky taking on multiple jobs in order to support and care for her daughter. It's important things like this that remind you that DANDADAN is a story about people and the things we will do for the people we care about.
Mommy, I love you.
Now, let's talk about the music. Kensuke Ushio is amazing. For those of you who aren't familiar with his work, he is the man who produced the soundtracks for Devilman Crybaby 2018, A Silent Voice, and The Dangers in My Heart. If you aren't familiar with the term autosad, very big YouTuber Tentacruel talks about it in his Music on Reality TV is Insanely Manipulative video. Go check it out, link in the description. But to give you a bit of a TLDR, it's music in a scene that's typically used to display that what you are about to see is very sad, and while a lot of the time music like this can feel cheap and not really bring out any emotion towards the viewer, the piano track To a Kinder World that Kensuke Ushio composed for this scene doesn't do that. It reminds me a lot of Guts' theme, a track that's so melancholic but hopeful and beautiful at the same time. Each note played on the piano, starting with those opening chords and the slow build up with each keystroke as the song just crescendos into the serene ballad showing a mother who would do anything for her daughter, even if it goes as far as taking multiple jobs, from selling her body to working as a cleaner and working as a cashier. This shit is beautiful! Kensuke Ushio is my favorite anime composer of all time, and it's songs like this that prove to me that he understands the key components of how to elicit a reaction from the audience without making it feel cheap or unearned. The track is used twice, the first in the montage with Silky and her daughter, and the second time with Silky chasing after the people who took her daughter. And the second time it's played is what really broke me. The way this scene was made, the shaky cam, the first person person perspective from Silky, her heavy breathing while she runs in a heavy downpour of rain, and her slipping and falling as she watches the car drive off just brought tears to my eyes and cum in my pants. This episode was beautiful. 2024 has been a relatively slower year for anime. We haven't really gotten a standout show the way we have in previous years. Even though we had The Dangers in My Heart Season 2 and Dungeon Meshi, none of those shows gave me an episode like episode 7 of DANDADAN. I mentioned it on my community post, and I still hold the belief that if DANDADAN keeps up the momentum and keeps giving us these 10 out of 10 episodes, then it will be my anime of the year. That's been it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing, leaving a like, and leaving a comment telling me if you loved this episode or if you hated it. I'll see you guys later.